It's Monday, May 28th, and you're listening to the Geek at Geek News Central, show number 769, sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com. Save 25% on a one-year fourth-generation hosting account by using the promo code NAB. New GoDaddy customers get 25% off your entire order by using promo code 25May3. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Hey, folks, you know what comes next? Strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There is no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Aloha and welcome to Geek News Central, coming to you as live as it can be from the beautiful state of Hawaii via the Geek News Central studio overlooking Greater Honolulu. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Of course, my name is Todd Cochran. I want to give a warm welcome to all of our ohana. I want to welcome you to being here, part of the family, being part of the show. And if you're checking out the show for the very first time, I want to encourage you to get over to geeknewscentral.com and check out all our great content. Got lots of great writers over there creating great daily content on tech, science, and everything else going on in the space. Of course, we've got a number of podcasts as well. The Gadget Professor. We have Saturday Morning Tech, Robot Underpants, The Chrome Show, our special media events, and so forth. So definitely check out all our shows and feel free to subscribe. You can also check us out on the Boxy, Roku, Samsung Smart TV, Google TV on our Tech Podcast channel there. You'll be able to download, and we're actually streaming the show live. Of course, our Android app as well for Tech Podcast or Blueberry.com. So lots of ways to consume the show if you don't catch us live. But I want to thank everyone for being here, all the video and audio listeners. Thanks for being part of the family and being here. Of course, you can always reach me on Twitter at Geek News. It's real simple to follow me there. And please do so, and have updates from time to time on what's going on. Of course, new blog posts and so forth. You can always email me here at the show at geeknews@gmail.com, or you can use our hotlines available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 619-342-7365. You can Skype in, dial in, whatever feels your pleasure. Leave your comments and commentary on the show and what we've got going on here, and we definitely appreciate all of you that leave comments or drop the show email. It's greatly appreciated. Well, here we are. On the last show, I had talked just a little bit about a growing family situation, and received word late this afternoon that my grandfather has passed away. So, I was kind of moping around here, not knowing really what to do, if I should do a show. But really, I guess at this point, I kind of decided the show must go on and proceed forward. So bear with me as we go through the show tonight. I guess I'm luckier than most. I had all my grandparents for many, many years. I'm 40. Well, I will be 48 years old here in about a week, and so all my grandparents lived into their late 90s. Actually, mid 90s to late 90s. So none of them made it quite to 100. My grandfather on my mom's side almost did. But, I think that bodes pretty well for genes in the family. And hopefully if I can take care of myself well enough, I'll be lucky enough to live to the ripe old age that they have. So we will see. But this has raised some changes here to my schedule. So I'm definitely going to I got to call United in the morning and see what I can do about rescheduling my flight that I had leaving out of here on June 3rd. So I'm definitely going to go early. We haven't got a date yet for the funeral, but they're thinking Friday or Saturday, so going to be home for that. So probably I'll fly out, I would assume Wednesday or Wednesday night at the latest. Here we are already Monday, with the holiday and everything. Things are a little bit screwed up from a time perspective, as trying to work my brain to get wrapped around where I need to be and when. But anyway, just stand by the next show where will likely either not be a show or it'll be a show from Michigan, or it'll be a delayed show or something. So we'll see. I've got some ideas. Maybe we'll have a little bit different type of a show later in the week. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, and I'll just kind of play it by ear. So talk with my aunt, the oldest sister, and talk with her, and the siblings, of course, were pretty close at the time of his death, and we were kind of expecting this. This wasn't a surprise. We knew that he was in declining health, and ever since my grandmother's death, it's one of those things where when a pair are together, when a husband and wife are together for so many years, and one spouse is lost, then the second one is, oftentimes goes relatively soon afterwards. But anyway, be headed back for that. So I just want to keep you advised on that. But I know there'll probably be a bunch of emails, and I'll think in advance for all of you that drop me a note. But let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. I flew back from D.C. on Saturday. Got in Saturday afternoon. It's kind of funny. I sat next to Senator Dan Inouye on the airplane, and boy, for being the senior senator, he is definitely the senior senator. He's looking very, very, very elderly. Let's put it that way. But didn't get a chance to really talk to him. But they delayed the airplane an hour and 50 minutes for him. So we sat on the tarmac waiting, and didn't know we were waiting for him until he walked down the airplane, and he very quickly closed the door and pushed back. But that was the excitement, per se, of coming back to Honolulu. So we got in here Saturday afternoon, and then we kind of took it easy and did some projects around here. Honey-do list had to be taken care of, and definitely took care of the honey-do list because I had a long, lengthy amount of stuff that needed to be done. Hey, let's take a minute here and just I want to thank the sponsors of the show. We'll start off, of course, with GoDaddy.com, and GoDaddy's been here a sponsor for quite a while, and they've got lots of great products and services, and we've got some great offers for you this month. And but I really want you to take a chance, and when you go and getting ready to buy your next domain name, your next hosting account, your next internet service, I want you really to consider GoDaddy as a potential solution. They have great products, great services. I'm finding that their 4th generation hosting accounts, which I've been promoting the heck out of for a while, are simply fantastic. I'm really impressed to the extent that I almost think I could probably run Geek News Central on one of those accounts without having to have a dedicated server. It's really that impressive on what they've been able to deliver there. So no plan on moving my particular site off a dedicated server anytime soon. But for those of you that are just getting started and looking to put a blog up, this is really the way to go. This is secure cloud hosting that's easy to use, easy to implement. You can set up a WordPress blog really just by click, and answering a few questions. It's really not at all difficult to use. And the best part is I'm going to get you 25% off a plan when you sign up for 12 months. And from $8.49 a month, and save an additional 25% by using the promo code NAB. Of course, we've got a deal going on this month as well. If you want to save some good money, if you're not a customer yet of GoDaddy, you'll definitely want to head over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. I've got a list of all my promo codes there. And 25 May 3 will get you 25% off your entire order for a brand new GoDaddy customer. Of course, ComSale 3 will get you .com renewals. ComSale will get you $7.99 on .coms. Whole bunch of codes there, Geek5, Todd20, Todd, on and on and on. But definitely check GoDaddy out. And we definitely appreciate GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here of the show. And I hope that you'll support them so that we can keep on doing what we're doing here. How many of you, I just looking over a little feedback, how many of you finding the show notes being over at gncshownotes.com to be distracting? We are starting to see an uptick again of traffic to Geek News Central ever since we got whacked pretty hard by Google based on what we assumed was the penalty for having all the links in every one of the show notes going out. So love to hear you guys' feedback on that, how you're finding the show notes to be working out, if we're delivering what you want. So love to hear some feedback at that, geeknews@gmail.com. If you get a chance. Hey, I do want to announce our winner. Our email list winner is Melisa Strayer. She's one of our Geek News Central listeners that is on our mailing list. She's been subscribed for about 3 years to our mailing list. So congratulations to Melisa Strayer for being our winner of this show. She's going to pick up either a Apple TV or a Roku, her choice of which device she wants. So I want to thank her for being a Ohana member here and listening to the show. Of course, I want to talk just a little bit about my HD mobile broadcast studio. Learned a lot on its first inaugural trip. We're going to make a couple of minor changes inside the box, largely because when I got both times, it looked like it went through the dry cycle in a drying. I tell you, the airlines, I got fragile, handle carefully and everything on this box, and they just don't care. They really don't. They slam it around and abuse it, and it's just makes you I just shake my head. I really do, because I just couldn't believe how much the wires got jumbled with just being tossed back and forth probably 25 times between airplanes and so forth. So far so good. We are seeing a little. It's going to be interesting to see how this thing survives over the long haul. I'm probably going to get someplace sometime and end up with no ability to do a show. So I'm actually going to start packing a separate little mini recorder in case I run into that situation. Either that'll be running to Radio Shack to find a little lab headset or something. We'll be back to square one. So interesting to see how that moved. Hey, got a lot of tech tonight to talk to you about, even though we're coming off a long 3-day weekend. I hope everyone enjoyed their Memorial Day weekend. And I should note, it should go without saying that we remember Memorial Day weekend for what it is, especially Memorial Day, and not being a day to barbecue and being the first day of summer, as many folks do, but also remember those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice, and remember those folks that have served this country, and of course those that are active duty as well for continuing to serve us now, and those in the past. And we want to thank them for their service, and thank and really put our thoughts and hearts towards those that have definitely given their lives for this country. So anyway, as Memorial Day wraps down, we hope everyone got back safe from their weekend out if they did do so. So let's take care of the last piece of business here, and then we'll get into the full-blown tech show that I've got. I got a lot of stuff to talk with you tonight. Well, with colleagues working from home like me, or traveling for business like I do, getting everyone together for a meeting is just literally an impossible task. And, my team is spread out all across the United States, but we have a solution for that. That's GoToMeeting with HD Faces. And really, this is a great product. Your team can meet face-to-face while online, no matter where they're at. Matter of fact, Jeffrey Powers and I were recording a Tech Podcast Roundtable today, and he said he's using it to plan a family reunion where family members are getting together via GoToMeeting, and they're actually doing their planning for the reunion using the application, which was pretty amazing to me that it was a new way to utilize the product. But GoToMeeting by Citrix allows you to collaborate on files and make plans online. And with HD Faces, you just need a webcam to turn your online meetings into a group HD video conference. Now you can participate on the go using the built-in camera on your iPad. Just download the free GoToMeeting app to join. And, seeing someone's facial expression, body language builds a connection with those that you're talking to and enhances communications. You guys know that I absolutely love GoToMeeting, and I recommend it to all of you to give it a try. So see how easy to use to GoToMeeting with HD Faces. I don't want you to miss this special offer. I want you to go, again, over to GoToMeeting.com. Click the Try It Free button. It's the orange Try It Free button on the website. And once you get in there, enter the promo code podcast. And be sure to use the promo code podcast. It's going to save you, going to give you a free 30-day trial. Gives us credit for you checking the application out. And I think what you're going to find that if you use this as it's intended, and maybe even ways it's not intended, that you're going to have a product here that you're going to fall in love with and want to use on a daily or weekly basis. And it's really, I consider it an essential tool in my toolbox for doing business. And we live in a virtual world today, you don't always have to get on an airplane and go someplace. Sometimes you do, But even when you do, you can still have meetings online, even with your staff back at your home plate or with the new clients that you're building business with, even when you're on travel. So definitely try GoToMeeting out. Okay, let me go ahead here and look through my show notes and make sure that I have got the initial stack taken care of tonight for what I need to cover. And I think I do. I think I'm good. So we can get into the programming. I do want to remind you guys, if you want to help support the show and become an insider, we're always looking for folks that want to become an insider of the program. It definitely helps us out here and helps me do what I do. So geeknewscentral.com/insider. All right, let me go ahead and open up Chrome. We got a good lineup of stuff tonight. First thing I want to do, of course, is I want to say congratulations to the SpaceX team for a successful launch, docking, and everything else. Everything went like clockwork. SpaceX Dragon is attached to the International Space Station, and just outstanding, a near flawless approach, and it went really, really well. So a total of 1,455 pounds of stuff was hauled to the International Space Station, and there's actually a manifest of what was brought up. They brought 674 pounds of food, 117 standard meals, and about 45 low sodium meals. That's kind of interesting that they mixed up. They've got low sodium mixed in there. Crew clothing, pantry items, official flight kit. They brought another 46 pounds of experiments, school projects, and so forth. They bought cargo bags, 271 pounds of cargo bags. They said preposition of cargo bags for future flights. So in other words, this stuff that they're probably going to pack their garbage into to send back home. They sent up a laptop, batteries, power supplies, cables, 22 pounds of that. Total cargo mass was 1,014 pounds, or actually 1,146 with the packaging. And then return, they're going to bring back crew items. They're going to bring back some experiments. They're going to bring back some hardware, some parts, all kinds of different things. So they're bringing back 1,455 pounds. So, actually, they took up 1,014 pounds, and they're bringing back 1,367 pounds or 1,455 pounds of gear. So that's interesting because this thing is not burning up on reentry. They are a traditional splashdown in the Pacific is going to happen. So one more test here to bring this thing back from orbit. The station astronauts are saying that the Dragon has plenty of room for hauling big crews to orbit. They've got some pictures here, and if I bring up the Universe Today website, I'll have that link up in the show notes. For those of you that are listening, you'll be able to look at this image. It's a huge hatch, and definitely it looks like there's room in this thing for folks to. Oh, is this going to load up? Okay, what did I do? There we go. It's they've got plenty of room to get in and out of this thing, and so we'll see where this leads. At some point they're going to be bringing astronauts to the International Space Station. We're a few years away from that, but I guess the true test of the day is just how many astronauts can you cram inside the Dragon? Do you pack them in like the old school way when putting people in Volkswagens and see how many people you could get in there? But long story short here, if they keep doing what they're doing, we're going to have a viable lift capacity from a private enterprise to bring more supplies to the International Space Station. There were some pretty remarkable pictures as well. I have those linked up in the show notes for you to check out. It's pretty extraordinary. They've got some great stuff here, and you just can tell that the SpaceX folks have done a great job, and some exciting pictures here. But really, history was made with the docking of the Dragon to the International Space Station, first commercial spacecraft to reach. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'm just going to get the rest of the space stuff knocked out here at the beginning of the show. NASA is asking future moon visitors to respect its stuff. And they're saying we have set up a 225 meter radius in and around Apollo 17 that we don't want you to land in. So they basically said, stay out, stay out of these landing sites, because the first thing someone's going to want to do is they're going to want to go to land close to an Apollo site to make sure that the Apollo stuff really happened. And but anyway, NASA's asking the countries, including China, India, and Japan, to not plan to put their spacecraft down in and around the old Apollo sites. So kind of an interesting pre-move here by the NASA folks. All right, a lot of rumor this weekend about a Facebook phone. Now, if you think about that, let's think about a Facebook phone. There's rumors here that Facebook is working with Google on the Android platform to bring a Facebook phone to market. Considering the pain they went through with their stock here as of late, I don't know if they should be looking at putting a Facebook phone. But are we all so intertwined with Facebook that we would be willing to buy a phone that was specifically tied to all Facebook's products and services? I don't know. But it appears that Facebook is worried they're just going to be an app on everybody's phone. And let's be honest, they are. But I don't want Facebook to dominate a phone that I'm going to buy. We'll see. We'll see what happens with this. But a lot of rumors on this, that this could be coming to fruition. And they're saying that they may want to launch their Facebook phone by next year. Love to hear you guys' thoughts on that, on whether or not you think that this would be a viable product to bring to market. Hey, I must mention, since I've been back, the trade winds here in Honolulu have been, for a better word, off the hook. I mean, I wouldn't say howling, but impressively, this really weird to have this much high wind this time of year in Honolulu. And this afternoon, my wife had already basically got some chicken ready. We had it all marinated, and I went out to cook it on the grill and decided not to use charcoal and use gas. I could hardly keep the gas burners lit every time I'd open the lid to flip the chicken, and it's just kind of weird. We've been talking about it here for the last couple of days, and I was at a small party last night before, of course, long before I got the news on my grandfather, and we were all talking about it. It's just kind of odd. I don't know what's going on, but, it's beautiful weather, but just blowing like crazy. So if you hear a little ruffling on the mic tonight, I apologize. I got the window cracked, and every once in a while I get a hit here, and it's maybe a little bit too much. But anyway, high winds in Honolulu. Now, how many of you have, changing topics here, how many of you have multiple Apple IDs? If you've got a couple of phones, got a couple of iPads, a couple of iPhones, especially if you have different members in the family that hold them, how many Apple IDs should you really have? So the folks over at GigaOM have basically broke it down, and it shows you, they've got a matrix here showing what each Apple ID can do, how they're interconnected, whether you need to have them tied together, and they've narrowed down your options and some suggestions for best organizing your family devices and Apple accounts. So this is really a good article, and I'm not going to go into the full details because there's a lot to this. It's probably a good 10-minute read for all of you to go through this. But if you really have kind of, this has come to my forethought in the past, but I really haven't explored to the extent that GigaOM has. But they give you a good strategy here on how to manage your iPhone IDs. And my kids are always coming up. My daughter is specifically, but she's got a Gen 1 iPhone that is a hand-me-down. As a matter of fact, the pixels on the screen are starting to go, and she's always, "Dad, can I get this app?" And so I'm having to put the password in. She's always turning her head, trying to respect not to get my password. And but at the same point, I don't necessarily want her to have an Apple ID with a credit card tied to it yet. So I don't know. How are you guys handling that in your household? But then again, I don't want her apps on my phone either, because there's some stuff that she does I could care less about. But how you guys handling it at your home? And just, check this article out, and I think it'll be good read for you. Now, it's kind of funny, too, because yesterday she brought I've got a first gen Intel Mac that she's kind of adopted, and she's using. It's my first MacBook Pro that I ever bought, and still works great. And so she's kind of commandeered that, and my son, believe it or not, he took and commandeered my wife's 15-inch that she doesn't use anymore because she used the iPad. But she said, "Hey, Dad, can you password this in so I can launch or load Uvu?" And I'm like, "Okay, you got to tell me what Uvu is," and the OOVOO. And Uvu launched a new Facebook 12-way video chat app along with updates to many of its other apps. Now, I wasn't familiar with this, so she's, "Oh, my friends can chat together. We can video talk, da, da, da." She's going on, and I said, "Well, why don't you use Skype?" And, "Oh, my friends don't use Skype. That's not cool, blah, 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 blah." So today, as I'm getting ready to do the show, the folks at GigaOM had done some review on Uvu, and so it's kind of interesting. Uvu's used by mostly young users. 60% of its 46 million users are under 25, and they don't use FaceTime or Skype to make the equivalent of a phone call or other video. So, she was showing me how it works. She got her friends up, and they're chatting, having a good time. And so I was kind of like, huh. And so I got a little bit of in-doc today on Uvu by my daughter. And main thing I'm worried about is we're having to have this discussion about appropriate places to have the video loaded, what you're wearing. This is times of utilization, blah 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 blah. And I said, you don't abuse it. If you abuse it, I'll lock your computer out, shut the internet off at a certain time at night. And if I catch you on, so we had this whole discussion about that. But your kids may be using Uvu instead of Skype or FaceTime. There's an article over on blog.flatter.net, and many of you probably are using this app called Instacast to get your podcasts. And I know some of you get this show with Instacast. And actually, I was talking with Angelo about it. They have a relatively tiny share of people from what we see in our overall statistics package, because we can track all the different devices and applications that are consuming the content. And Instacast a while back integrated something that's called Flatter. And basically what you could do is you can give a micropayment to a show, support a show through a micropayment. And so Apple has shut them down because they said that the collection of donations must be done via a website in Safari or an SMS. And Apple recommended Vimeo, the makers of Instacast, to change the user flow and force actual Flatter to take place in Safari. They're saying while technically doable, it's a big step back for the user experience and kills auto Flatter features and would reduce the number of Flatters happening. I've never got no money from a Flatter or from Instacast, but they have basically delisted this application. Now the folks are fighting back, and so we'll see what happens here. But they're out at this point, and obviously Apple here wants to take a cut if it can, and so they're going to have to change this up. But I'd love to hear from any of you that are actually using Instacast, and I know there's a very, very tiny small percentage that's using it overall from what we see in our statistics. It may be popular, but it's just not being used a great deal. But I'd love to hear your feedback on that for those of you that are using it. All right. Over on dailymail.co.uk, we've talked in the past here about Homeland Security, TSA, and so forth, getting folks on the do not fly list and so forth. But there's actually a new document out that if you use certain words, you might be scheduled to be looked at. The Department of Homeland Security has been forced to release a list of keywords and phrases it uses to monitor social networking sites and online media for signs of someone being a terrorist or other threats against the United States. The list includes obvious choices. So, I'm afraid to even say some of these things. But, all right, let me be careful here. Some of the words are attack, drill, cops, authorities, mitigation, response, recovery, first responder, initiative, deaths, hostage, police, breach, threat, standoff, crash, riot. And I'm staying away from the really dangerous words. Hazmat, toxic, radiation, cloud, plume, leak, chemical, burn, gas. And, I'm staying away from the other words that would really get me flagged here. Health concerns, outbreak, plague, symptoms, mutation, resistance, antiviral, wave, infection, swine, pork, flu, avian, Ebola, strain. Now, here's some infrastructure security words that get you looked at. Blackout, brownout, port, dock, bridge, delays, smart, power, grid, metro. Here's some border stuff. San Diego, Colombia, heroin, border, Mexico, cartel, bust, kidnap. And here's some terrorism words. Terror, attack, Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran, Argo, jihad, radicals, plot, pirates, Islamist, weather or disaster words that you can't use. Emergency, hurricane, tornado, twister, tsunami, earthquake, tremor, flood, storm. So it goes on and on and on. A lot of these words we will use on a daily basis. But if you use those in blog posts, Twitter, social media, ding, ding, every time it does, it rings a bell somewhere, and you may end up being on some watch list sometime. So anyway, I'll have these up in the show notes. You can look at all of them. But wow, the agency insists it only looks for evidence of genuine threats to the U.S. and not for signs of general dissent. Makes you go, doesn't it? So if you add these to a do not write list, you may have to limit your vocabulary a little bit because it's quite the list, isn't it? A lot of common words there that, depending on the context they're used, really would not, would really impact how you're going to write on something. Okay, let's talk about NBC. NBC's laying out its 2012 London Olympics broadcast plan on TV. This is forthcoming. Let's love it or hate it. We're stuck with NBC for our Olympic broadcast, the United States. And so they're going to have 240 events that are going to be streamed live. They'll be on YouTube. And UK, of course, those of you that are in the UK, BBC has its own plans. But they want, there's going to be 3,500 total hours in the awarding of all 302 medals. On mobile devices, NBC also plans for 2 different apps on phones and tablets. And they're going to have 242 planned hours of 3D coverage as well in producing in partnership with Panasonic, which will unfortunately air on a 24-hour tape delay. They're going to have, here's what it is. They're going to have 5,355 hours of coverage across NBC, MSNBC, CBS, Bravo, Telemundo, and everything else. But I'll have a link up to the article and the press release, and you can get the details. Anyways, you're going to be able to see pretty much everything on stream and some on TV. How many of you are fans of Windows Live? I'm listening. I'm hearing crickets. Goodbye to Windows Live. Microsoft is going to be killing this off, rolling it into some other products. So Windows Live is sayonara. So I'm sure all of you will be truly devastated about this going away. And those of you actually using it, well, I guess, sorry. Microsoft also did a survey. They paid for this survey, and they come out with this statement saying that that if you're a company and you have a Windows XP on your machines, they are costing you 5 times more to manage than what a Windows 7 machine would. So Microsoft sponsored a survey conducted by IDC, which in turn interviewed 9 enterprises or large organizations to drill down into the support costs for XP and Windows 7. And according to IDC, an amazing 42% of Windows commercial installed base or anything other than consumer home machines was Windows XP, making Microsoft's job of moving everyone off the OS by April 2014 nearly impossible. IDC projected that current trends continue. 11% enterprise and education Windows installed bases will still be running XP when Windows stop patch delivery in 23 months. So they're saying that the migration from Windows XP to Windows 7 yields 137% return on investment over a 3-year period. Well, what it is you got lots of computers and lots of homes or lots of businesses that are just being used for basic service, using a little Word doc, a little Excel spreadsheet, maybe some bookkeeping, no really heavy lifting. Why do those need to be updated? Windows XP does that fine, right? But it may come to a point where they have to be locked out because they become too much of a security risk. So we'll see. Hey, here's something, moving topics here. And for those of you that are viewing, shield your eyes here. There's a new launch. And I'm pretty excited about this. There's going to be a bunch of startups that are going to be promoting their product. It's an education and kids event. It's a 2-day conference focused on education for both K-12 and higher ed. It's a kid-centric setup and innovation. And there's going to be a lot of well-known, established people in the space are going to be there visiting or viewing the presentations and so forth. But they're going to be working on topics as how to make money in education, how do we make education social, how do we sell tech products to schools, how they can use tablets to foster learning, how to make both educational, safe, kid-friendly apps, and really how to advance education within basically how to really advance education online. So I'm excited to see where this is going to go and what type of companies are there. But it's called launchedu.co. So check it out. And there's already a list of startups in the education kids space that are going to be there. So I'm really interested in the online education part. I think it's the future for education in this country and throughout the world. I'm excited to see where this goes, but definitely check that out. Hey, if you're going to be traveling to Japan anytime soon, Amazon is offering a prepaid 4G LTE data. You're going to be able to get their SIM cards, and it's going to make your 3G capable Kindles to be able to surf the net while you're in Japan. So those are going to be available. You can get a 500 megabit block of 4G for 1,980 yen or $25 at a current exchange rates. So I'll have that link up in the show notes. Thought that was cool. I showed that to my wife, and she says, well, I'm taking the Kindle with me next time. There's a new malware targeting computers in the Middle East. And this malware is making the Stuxnet malware look small time. Now, this is huge. Kaspersky thinks it may be a decade. Now, just hear me out. I think it may be a decade before they know how much damage this code can wreak. And apparently what's going on is this code started out was a simple using a known Microsoft hole that still exists even in Windows 7. It's a hole in a printer driver. And so it started off small, got in, and then it's being updated, and it's growing, and it's becoming more dynamic in what it can do. And it's called Flame. And they are saying that this thing is nasty. It's a backdoor Windows Trojan. It doesn't just sniff and steal nearby. It doesn't just sniff and steal. It uses your computer hardware against you. The rogue code nabs phone data or Bluetooth, spreads over USB drives, and records conversations from the PC's microphone. That's not enough. It even set it's very complex, and it's infecting PC in stages. And they feel that this malware may have been attacking computers since 2010 without being spotted until now. And they say this thing is massive, and it can even, get into a Windows 7 machine at this point. So we'll see where this goes. But man, they're going to figure out where this thing came from. If it's targeting the Middle East, it makes you go, for sure. But I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about this over the coming days and weeks for sure. All right, Comcast has launched the Xfinity app. It's now available for the Android. This is an article that is on Geek News Central, put together by our very own Alan Buckingham. So definitely go get out and check that out. He's got a pretty good review on this, along with some images of the actual application. And you can watch Affinity videos and so forth on your mobile device now. I'm sure that makes Netflix very happy. Along with that, Alan put up a pretty good article on Pandora now becoming basically controlling most of the internet radio market. And specifically, Pandora now controls 71.7% of the top 20 U.S. internet radio services with 51.9 million active users. Now, I'm watching this next development or this next story with a lot of interest. How many of you have seen a Phil DeFranco video on YouTube? Well, he has a new YouTube channel called SourceFed, and this guy has hit the jackpot. I'm here to tell you, I'm green with envy. He has hit 100 million views just 3 months after its launch. It's part of YouTube's new professional channel initiative. He obviously owns the Philip DeFranco Show, and it continues to rack millions of views as well. And his company is about to hire more folks and add another show to its roster. So he's got some pretty big ambitions here. And he is basically looking for talent. He's going to be building out a complete internet-based talent system. So I'm telling you, these YouTube guys that are in the money, that are hooked up, they are raking in some cash, and really all they got to do is bring the talent, and they don't, everything else is on YouTube to monetize it. So that's big. It really is. It's going to make it more difficult. Well, it's not going to make it difficult. It's going to give more opportunities for content creators to really ramp up and get exposure. If they get hooked up with a network like this, YouTube has definitely got its sights on disrupting the new media space, and it's becoming more professional content. So I'll be curious to see where this leads this time. Love to hear your thoughts on this. I'm not necessarily a big fan of this guy's work. I've seen some of his videos before. So, he tracks a certain type of audience, which I fully understand. Time will tell, I guess. And, anybody that gets 100 million views in 3 months, though, ka-ching, the cash register will ring big time. All right, Pirate Bay is ready for perpetual IP address whack-a-mole. Of course, we know that a lot of countries now are basically court-ordered blockades against the site. And this has been effective for, certain countries, but they're fighting back. So if you're in a country that's blocking the Pirate Bay, here's a new IP. You can just type this into your browser, 194.71.107.80. 194.71.107.80 will get you right to the Pirate Bay for the time being, until someone figures that out, adds that IP to the block base that's being blocked. But lots of proxy stuff can be set up to get to that as well. Another article over on Torrent Freak. This is I can't wait to read this book. This guy has done a little bit of what it is. He is a guy that was a member of Centropy. It was the world's leading movie piracy group that got broke up in 2005 when there was a lot of raids across the country. This guy was specifically in Lubbock, Texas. when the FBI raided his house as part of what's called Operation Sightdown. And this was a shakedown that happened over 10 different countries. But he's wrote a book. And, I was back in the day when Kevin Mitnick and stuff got arrested and he released his book. It was a good read. And I can't really wait to read this book that this guy's coming out with. But I'll have a link up in the show notes. You guys can check this out. But definitely I'm going to be pre-ordering this and make sure I get it in digital format because I'm sure it's going to be fascinating. But the link will be up in the show notes on this. You definitely want to check it out. And we'll wait for the book release. Now, oftentimes you have to laugh because sometimes the actions by companies end up causing them to have negative consequences to themselves. But it appears that copyright holders are punishing themselves with crazy DMCA takedown notices. Companies like Warner, Hulu, Crackle, and others have been sending DMCA takedown notices to their actual content that they put up themselves. It's kind of funny. DMCA takedowns were done by Warner Brothers to remove previews of movies and so forth and different stuff that they'd put online. So, basically they're whack-a-mole in their own stuff. So it just goes to show you how broke the copyright stuff is when they can't even distinguish what's their own and what someone else has put up. But you have to laugh when that kind of stuff actually happens. All right, for those of you that live in Britain, from now on, Britain has a new cookie law, prohibits tracking without consent. So what's going on here is that this new cookie law has become enforceable this past weekend and require all UK-based website operators to give visitor notifications if the website will use any method of tracking, not just cookies, but other types of analytics as well on the user's computers. This is going to drive you UK users crazy when you're visiting a UK site because you're going to get a pop. Can we put a cookie on your machine? Can we get our analytics? It's going to be, oh boy. I don't know how they're going to enforce this, but they're going to have fines up to £500,000 for non-compliance with the cookie law. But at the moment, it seems to be downplaying punishment in favor of educating non-conforming site admins. So we'll see what happens with this. So some of you that are in the UK that listen to the show, when you visit a UK site and you get one of these pop-ups, send me a screenshot of that, okay? Drop that in an email here to geeknews@gmail.com. I want to see the different ways that they're essentially implementing this. And we know that cookies are commonplace on the internet. We also know that cookies talk to other sites, and there's this cross-linking that goes on. Pretty impressive, in fact, on how much data can be derived from some cookies that are on your machine. But, there's been a big backlash against tracking cookies, and especially those from third-party sites that can store users' browsing history for long periods of time. So we'll see and if this initiative by the British government to prevent this from happening is effective or not. Hey, the folks over at CNET are posted a story about a girl who posted a Facebook pic of cash. I guess the robbers visited her home. A teenage girl was helping her grandmother count her life savings. She posted a picture of the cash on Facebook, and a few hours later, two men arrived at her grandmother's house with a knife and a wooden club. Apparently, the picture had been taken sometime before, so there wasn't actually cash in the house, but the person still got robbed. And but anyway, they figured out where this gal lived, and just from the Facebook photo. So be careful, I guess, what we're putting up on Facebook. And this is to be expected, but that's pretty stupid. Just throw a wad of cash. If you show a wad of cash, that you're setting yourself up to be robbed, right? I would think so. And don't keep cash in your house. It's not smart. Cash is not traceable. It'll once it's gone, it's gone. Oh my goodness. Hey, here's something that we should all go about. Over on Extreme Tech at extremetech.com, they are tracking hard drive prices. Now, remember before the big mess in Thailand and so forth, where they had the big floods. Now, it's been several months since flood waters in Thailand receded. And we've been watching hard drive prices. And of course, in February, March, the prices fluctuated all over the place. And here's something to think about. In quarter three, 2011, before the floods, a 1 terabyte Western Digital Caviar Green drive cost $59. Now, during the floods, it went up to $109.99. Price today, May 23rd, $99. So it's up nearly 50% from quarter three prices. It hasn't only dropped just a few percentage points from the January price point. Now, if you look at a Samsung drive, a Spin Point F3 1 terabyte drive was $59 in quarter three, $159 on 122, and now $109. If you look at a mobile Western Digital Scorpio Black 320 gig drive, $69 Q3, $99 on 122, back down to $84, but still not down to historic lows. And the question is, are the hard drive manufacturers just keeping the prices up? Now, SSD drives, on the other hand, are still higher by about 25 to 30%. If you look at a Corsair 4 Series GT, $149 fall of 2011, $219 right now. Hard drive versus SSD price per gigabyte. You're still looking at about $1 on SSD, about 40 cents on hard drive pricing. So the hard drive prices are still up there. I'm lucky I've only had to buy one hard drive here this spring. So keep my fingers crossed that we don't have to do any major replacements yet. Hopefully the prices continue to come down. All right, last couple of articles I've got for you here. Apple's reportedly manufacturing a test batch of first smart TVs. So this has made the news, and some Chinese people have predicted that, or actually confirmed this. So apparently Foxconn is doing a pre-production run and manufacturing test to see where they're at. So maybe we're close. I am sure hoping we are. I really, really am. And with them having updated the iTunes spec to 1400 by 1400 pixels for iTunes image art, something's coming, folks. I'm going to tell you. They're prepping. They really, really are. Now, if you're taking pictures on your iPhone or your iPad, there's 5 handy iPhoto for iOS tips over at gigaohm.com. I have a link up in the show notes. These are really good suggestions, and talking about how to edit, best applications to use, and using iPhoto and so forth. So I have this link up in the show notes for you to check out. Just a great tip. I see my wife taking lots and lots of pictures with her iPad. I'm just like, you got a camera. Do you use it? No. And she's taking everything with her iPad, which the iPad camera's fine. But I'm like, honey, the camera in your purse is better. Oh, I don't want to use it. So, I've got one here that's converted to using the iPad as her camera. So, I don't know. I'm still using I still have a Canon, and I still have the little point and click too, or point and shoot too. So, just haven't used my iPhone a great deal for taking pictures. Every once in a while I'll use it. My daughter gets on my phone and she seems to load me up with pictures of her. Of course, I want to see new pictures of her every week, right? All right. Hey, let's just talk about we're here, and this is probably going to be the last show of the month. I can't imagine I'll be doing a show from Michigan. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up the listener giveaways at this point. We're not going to have another contest on the next show. Just think in the spirit of everything else that's going on, probably a good time to shut down. But we gave a lot of prizes away this month. I think we gave away 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I think we gave away 9 total, 8 or 9 total prizes worth about close to $1,000 worth of stuff we gave away this month to listeners of the show. And I want to thank all of you for being fans of the show and committed to staying subscribed. It is really my pleasure to bring you the show each month and twice every week. And we're kind of off track right now with Saturday Morning Tech. Just the perfect storm has kind of hit here, and we won't have one of those for a number of weeks. Try to figure out a way to do on this Saturday. I just don't know if it's going to be possible with the bandwidth situation I'll probably be under. But I want to thank all of you for staying subscribed and being part of the family and following the show for all these years. And I really, look at the calendar here, and here we are. We're May of 2012. It's going to be an 8-year anniversary here soon, and that's to me is just remarkable that so many of you have been here since double digits, and that you've taken as much time out of your schedule to listen to me. I know not all of you listen to every show, and that's fine. I know that we're all busy people, but thanks for being here and being part of the Ohana and being part of the family. It definitely is appreciated, and you guys are an integral part of my family. You guys have been through me thick and thin on a variety of different family issues and crises, and I've got kids growing up here that I talk about from time to time. But thanks for being part of the Ohana, and I do appreciate each and every one of you as a listener of this show. It is greatly appreciated. We're here 769 episodes. I don't know how many shows have gotten this high in total episodes over the length of the past 8 years, but or 7.5, I guess, at this point. But I would fair say there's not many that have been here since the beginning. And I want to thank you for being part of the Hana. And as always, you can email me here, geeknews@gmail.com. Voicemail hotline is 619-342-7365. It's been my absolute pleasure to bring you this show tonight. And even underneath these circumstances, the show must go on. But everyone take care. We'll see you next time. Aloha.